For years, I felt like I was doing everything right, but something was still off. I was checking all the boxes, working hard, being productive, trying to improve myself, and yet, I constantly felt like I was running in place. I had motivation, sure, I had goals, but I didn't feel connected to any of it. I wasn't waking up excited. I wasn't going to bed fulfilled. And the worst part, I couldn't explain it. That's when someone much wiser than me, asked me a question, just one, and it hit me so hard I had to stop and sit down. It was that kind of question. I've never looked at life the same way since, and once you hear it, I don't think you will either. Most people are stuck, not because they're lazy, but because they're asking themselves the wrong questions. We ask things like, what should I do with my life? How do I make more money? What's my passion? Why am I not happy? Those questions sound deep, but they lead you in circles. They don't unlock anything. They just trap you in overthinking and frustration. The quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask. And the one I'm about to share with you is the kind of question that breaks the loop. Let me describe what life felt like before I heard that question. I wasn't miserable. I wasn't failing. I just felt flat. I'd have a productive day, but it didn't feel meaningful. I'd hit a small goal, and instead of celebration, I just moved on to the next thing. No pause, no satisfaction, just a quiet voice asking, so what? It's easy to mistake progress for purpose. But when you don't know what your progress is really serving, you lose energy. You keep moving, but you're not moved. And that's exactly where I was. So here's what happened. I was talking to a mentor, someone who had gone through way more in life than I had. I was venting. I told him everything I just told you, that I was trying, but something felt missing. He listened carefully, then leaned forward and said, "You're asking the wrong question. Try this one instead. Ask yourself, what would the highest version of me be doing right now?" That was it. That was the question, and it hit me like a truck. Here's why that question works when others don't. Most questions we ask keep us focused on our problems, our pain, our confusion, but this question bypasses all of that and goes straight to your potential. It assumes that there's a version of you that's wiser, stronger, more courageous, more focused, the version of you that doesn't scroll for hours, avoid hard tasks, or settle for easy comfort. And when you ask that question, what would the highest version of me be doing right now? Your brain knows the answer instantly. It might say, go for the run, make the call, close the laptop, apologize, start the thing you keep delaying. And that answer, that's your roadmap. The beauty of this question is that it cuts through every excuse. You don't have to be in the mood. You don't have to feel confident. You don't even need motivation. You just ask, what would the highest version of me do right now? And suddenly you realize what needs to happen. It doesn't make the decision easier, but it makes it clearer. And sometimes, clarity is all you need to move. The first week I started using this question, I wrote it on a sticky note and put it on my desk. Anytime I got distracted, anytime I felt tired, anytime I caught myself reaching for my phone or putting off a hard task, I looked at that note, and every time, I knew exactly what the higher version of me would be doing. It didn't turn me into a perfect machine, but it made me aware. It broke the unconscious cycle of self-sabotage. You can't hide from yourself when you're asking better questions. This question doesn't just help you get more done. It helps you become more of who you actually want to be. One day I was angry. I wanted to say something sharp and passive-aggressive to someone close to me, but I stopped and asked, what would the highest version of me say right now? And just like that, the emotion shifted. I chose patience over ego, and I felt proud, not regretful. That's when I realized, this question isn't just for productivity, it's for alignment. It makes your actions match your values. The longer you use this question, the more your default behavior shifts. You'll catch yourself doing the right thing without even asking. You'll start seeing yourself differently, not as someone trying to improve, but as someone who already is that version. Your self-image updates. You start trusting yourself more, respecting yourself more, because you're not just thinking about the higher version of you, you're living like them, a little more every day. Let's say you ask this question 5 times a day. That's 150 times in a month. Now imagine making 150 decisions that are 1% better, wiser, braver, more focused. What happens to your life after 3 months of that? 6 months? A year? That's the compound effect. The small shift in identity, repeated over time, leads to massive change. And the best part? It doesn't cost you anything. No apps, no fancy planners. Just one question. If you want to actually use this question and make it stick, don't rely on memory. Write it down. On your desk, your mirror, your phone wallpaper. Set reminders on your calendar if you have to, but here's a better way. Tie it to triggers. When you open your laptop, when you check your phone, when you look in the mirror, when you sit down to work, ask it, what would the highest version of me do right now? And then do that, even just once a day. You'll feel the shift. This question changed how I work, how I think, how I treat people, how I treat myself, and now it's yours. Ask it once, ask it often, and watch what happens to your decisions, your discipline, and your direction. Comment below and tell me, who is your higher self? What would they be doing today? If this helped you shift something inside, even just a little, hit subscribe. This channel exists to challenge your thinking, so you can change your life. See you in the next one.